Deputy O'Donovan.
Thanks, Chairman, and can I thank the contributors for coming in. I suppose I'm going to state from the outset I'm going to be very parochial in relation to the response that I make in respect of some of the commentary that was made, because from my point of view, the counties of Kerry, Clare and Limerick are very much in the west of Ireland, and anybody that would suggest that we've moved location, I think I might look at the geography again. The Shannon Fines Port Company, which is in my own constituency, is a Tier 1 port of national importance. And I suppose I just want to direct my comments really in relation to the suggestion that from the Galway people that the policy that's there at the moment might in some way be against what they want to try and achieve. And I suppose just in relation to that, I looked at the annual report of the Galway Harbour Company there before I came in, and I see that they had a total income last year of 3.19 million, of which over half of the income was derived from non-port activities. 1.1 million came from rental income, and almost another 1,845,000 came from car parking charges. So I think if you contrast what the Galway Port Company are trying to suggest versus what is actually happening in the west of Ireland further down the coast in Shannon Fines, I think the contrast couldn't be more stark. Shannon Fines Port Company handles about 10 million tonnes of cargo a year, which equates about 15% of the national tonnage. Galway accounts for 1% of the national tonnage, just under 500,000 tonnes. Shannon Fines Port Company is opened 364 days a year, bar Christmas Day, and doesn't have the difficulties in relation to berthing. Can berth ships of over 200 metres with 10.5 metres of draft, has the deepest port in the country, and doesn't have the constraints that Galway is having, and that's the reason that it has been designated a Tier 1 port. Because you're quite right when you say that there will be issues in relation to attracting investment. The reason that I can see, the main reason that I can see that there will be an issue in attracting investment into a second port in the west of Ireland is that the facilities that you're envisaging are already available on the west of Ireland. And we will have 3 ports of strategic national importance, one in the east, one in the south and one in the west, with a motorway under construction between Limerick and Galway, and a report currently being commissioned by the National Roads Authority to upgrade the N69 into Fines, and CIE already having work done in relation to reopening the railway line into Fines. So a lot of what you're envisaging in your, and I was looking at your prospectus for years 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in the development of Galway, that work is already done 40 miles down the road in Limerick and Fines and Shannon and Tarbert and Moneypoint. And I can't for the life of me understand why there would be a difficulty in accepting the government's policy in relation to the tiering of the port, given that it handles at the moment 1% of the national tonnage, with 13 people working there on an average salary of €90,000 a year. So, I mean, from my point of view, I know that the biggest hindrance that you're going to have in relation to the development of this is in dredging, and that you're going to have to put considerable capital investment into a lot of dredging, costing a lot of money, which is going to have to require outside investment, which can come from one of 2 locations, either the state or another, and the state have already made their position clear in it. And I just wonder why you would, and why Galway City and County Councils would be averse to joining up, for want of a better word, with Limerick City and County Council and Clare County Council, with a view to establishing a clear transportation hub on the Shannon estuary, akin to what has been done at Shannon Airport. I mean, we can't have international airports at every 4 crossroads. By the same token, I don't think that we are big enough to have ports of strategic national importance at every 4 crossroads, with the investment that's going to be required, when it's not required 40 miles down the road, and the tonnage is already going in there. Some of the largest ships in the world are currently going into Moneypoint and going into Fines and going into Anish Island. And from my estimation, I think it's a very ambitious plan, but it bears no resemblance to what the government is trying to achieve in in the ports policy. I think it actually flies in the face of the ports policy that there's a reluctance to accept the fact that with 1% of the national tonnage and less than 50% of the income being derived from port activity, amounting to 1.29 million, that you feel that you're in the wrong tier. I find that very difficult to accept.